This is the story of Joe Caswell, a killer from the Old West who escapes the noose, only to discover a far stranger fate waiting on the other side. In the dry dust of the American frontier, an outlaw named Joe Caswell stands at the gallows. He's a killer, a man who admits to taking over 20 lives. A noose tightens around his neck. His execution is seconds away, but fate has other plans. The sheriff gives the signal, the horse is whipped, and bolts forward. But just as Caswell drops, he vanishes. He awakens in a laboratory, in the year 1960. Confused and disoriented, Caswell meets Professor Mannion, a scientist who has just tested his time machine. Mannion explains that he pulled Caswell from the past, a live human specimen to prove time travel is possible. But when he sees the burns from the noose still fresh on Caswell's neck, and hears Caswell casually confess to a life of murder, Mannion realizes he's made a terrible mistake. This man doesn't belong here. And so the professor decides Caswell must go back. But Caswell has other ideas. A heated argument turns deadly. Caswell lashes out, striking the professor with a desk lamp. The scientist falls, lifeless. The only man who understood the machine is now dead. Panicked and lost in a world a century too advanced, Caswell stumbles into the city. But 1960 is no place for a killer from the Old West. The blinding neon, the honking cars, the chaos of modern life, it's all too much. He can't make sense of the noise, the technology, the people. He retreats to the lab, desperate and broken. Caswell, Vio, help me! Somebody help me! But help doesn't come. Instead, the door creaks open, and in steps Paul Johnson, a petty thief looking for an easy score. The two men fight. But this time, Caswell doesn't win. Johnson strangles him with a curtain cord. Caswell dies, alone, in a time he was never meant to see. Greedy for a payout, Johnson searches for Mannion's safe, but in his curiosity, he triggers the time machine. A sudden flash, a crackle of energy, and he's gone. A noose waits, still swinging from the last attempted execution. And just like that, Paul Johnson appears, in Joe Caswell's place. The crowd sees a man they don't recognize, wearing clothes they don't understand. The sheriff and townsfolk stare at the lifeless body. Who was this man? Where did he come from? And what happened to Joe Caswell? No one can answer. But one question lingers in the dry desert air. Was it justice? Or was it the Twilight Zone? Joe Caswell is a murderer, no question. But when he's dragged into the future, he becomes a tragic figure. He's not just evil, he's lost. A man displaced and broken by a world he can't comprehend. The episode asks, can someone be punished outside their own time? And what happens when someone escapes their fate? Caswell's reaction to the modern world is one of the episode's best elements. It's not just confusion, it's terror. His breakdown in the bar, recoiling from a jukebox and television, emphasizes how quickly the world evolves, and how merciless that evolution can be for someone left behind. The ending is darkly poetic. Caswell escapes justice only to die anyway. Johnson, the thief, takes Caswell's place and is hanged, an innocent in the context of that time, but guilty in his own. The Twilight Zone doesn't deal in happy endings, it deals in balance. Time is a river, flowing forward, unyielding, indifferent. Joe Caswell stepped out of that river, plucked from the moment of his death by the hands of science. But science could not change what he was. The past shaped him, the future rejected him. And in the end, he was not a man reborn, only a man displaced. Then came another man, a thief named Johnson. He didn't come through time seeking justice or truth, only opportunity. But time has its own balance. In his grasping for gain, he was pulled into the same fate Caswell once escaped. A noose waits for no man, not even those born a century too late. So what then is justice? Is it punishment meted out at the right time? Or simply consequence catching up, wherever you may be? In the Twilight Zone, time does not forget, it does not forgive, it only waits, patiently, to settle the debt. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story from the shadows between science and superstition, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below.